brief but comprehensive description of identity theft, including data breaches, what it means to you, what is it, how bad is it, and what you can do to protect yourself. This beginner's guide will give you an overview which you can then go onto the web and get additional information. What is it? Well, it's where sensitive protected data is used by unauthorized people. They take your data and they use it for illegal means. What is identity theft? It's the same thing. Someone takes your personal information and again uses it for illegal means to your detriment. How bad is the data breach? Well, here's some information that you may find very interesting. 619 in 2013, 822 million records exposed. And you can see how this progresses into the present time where there are approximately 4 breaches every day. Now that is huge. You've probably heard of some of these companies. Some of them are big. IRS has all of your personal data, and they have been hacked. Anthem had millions, I think it was over 50 million records stolen. May have not have heard of the AT&T one. It wasn't publicized very much. American Express didn't publicize. You heard of Home Depot. P.F. Chang's would only affect a few people, but Target affected millions. Target was the first big one that was exposed, and they weren't prepared to figure out what caused it. They finally did, and have since fixed it, but all of your data was taken. How would you minimize the risks? Well, be aware of what information and who is impacted. Know the laws. Know what your organization can use or not use. Use strong passwords, and I'll show you some information as we go along here about how fast it would take for a hacker to get into passwords that you may use that I suggest you don't use anymore. Protect areas where you have personal or private information. In your home, in your car, in your purse. Don't leave anything lay around. Again, this is the obvious one: shred or delete unused or unnecessary data. Anything with account numbers on it or private information about yourself should definitely be shredded. If you don't have a shredder, take it to some place like UPS store who has a shredding facility for you. There are many ways to do this, and it's well worth it. Again, how bad is identity theft? #1 crime in America today. Top consumer complaint list for the 14th consecutive year. Now that is big. Millions of victims, and this is just going up and up all the time. Every 2 seconds somebody's identity is stolen. Now what's the probability of yours being stolen? Well, it's about 1, which means it's going to be stolen at some time. It's just a matter of when. What are they after? Well, they want your social security number, driver's license, and date of birth. With these things, they can go get credit in your name, they can get jobs in your name, they can report to the IRS in your name and not pay the taxes, and you become a victim of that. How are they doing this? Phishing. Well, this is where they send information to you that looks legitimate but is not. So don't open anything, any email or any information that you would get to you electronically unless you know who it's from. Dumpster diving. Believe it or not, the bad people will actually go out there in the dumpsters and search through it for information about you. Garbage cans, everything, landfills. There are no limits to what they will do to steal your information. Scams, we all know about scams, where they obtain information that they use illegally again. Data breaches, we talked about that previously. Hack into computer systems, and this is getting worse and worse. And it's some of the U.S. people are doing it. The foreign countries are doing it. China has been named. Russia's been named. There are others. And with the internet expanding, and with our transition, which is going to come from the IPv4 to 6, it's only going to get worse because there'll be more people out there. What's a scam? Don't fall for scams. phone calls, text messages, emails. Again, the list is endless. These people are really creative. Types, financial. Just look at the list. It's you know, everything. Governmental, tax, benefits, Medicare. It gets worse every day, and we're of course paying the bill on that one. Everybody is. Medical. Even though with the HIPAA laws, they still get into that stuff. Again, I can't stress enough how creative these people are. Information, criminal, and it goes on. Just why is it so common? Well, this is the digital age, and information is available. Anything that's written down anywhere is available if you're smart enough or clever enough. It's like saying there is no privacy, so you should probably get over it. People worry about privacy. Think about the information about you that's out there. And if it's out there, somebody can get it. Protection. 3 ways to minimize your risk. Secure your data. Pay attention to financial statements. Invest in ID theft protection. Secure your data. Well, use strong passwords. I'm going to show you some information here in a minute about passwords and how fast a hacker can get into them. There's a way to create what I'll call ultimate passwords, but this is not the only scheme. There are many, and you can take a look at how this one was derived. And it has 2 features. One is it's something you can remember, and 2 is it's long enough that hackers can't get into it in a reasonable time. And if they can't get into it in a reasonable time, they're not going to do it. You can see what they've done here. So they pull that center out of there, use that, and then wrapped information around it. Here's the Facebook case. Well, face, and then they take that center core and put book at the end of it. Well, hacking this one is going to take years, even with the biggest computers. And that's what we try to convince people to do. You know, 1, 2, 3, or your birth date or things like that. They're obvious, and you're going to get hacked. Gmail. Here's another one. They use the same core, and then they split G and mail around it. U.S. banks. It's a good scheme. It's not the only scheme. Now take a look at this. If you use simple things like look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or password, or QWERTY, well, the hackers can get into this almost as fast as you can push a couple of keys. Now 7 lowercase and uppercase letters, about 4 minutes, and these are using advanced algorithms on 32-bit machines. 39 minutes for 9 lowercase and uppercase numbers, 11 lowercase uppercase numbers and symbols, 4,000 years, even with the fastest computers. So just with a little bit of activity, a little bit of effort, you can definitely protect yourself.
Okay.
Secure your data. Shred. Dispose. Don't give out things that you don't need to give out. People will ask for Social Security numbers and they don't need it. And so when someone asks you for it, question why do they absolutely have to have it? There are very few institutions that require it. The IRS, some banking, and that's about it. Nobody else needs it in reality. They like it, but they don't need it. So don't share it unless you absolutely have to. Don't overshare on social media. Remember, whatever you put out there is out there forever. Not just tomorrow or the next day or a week or a month or a year, but forever. So be very careful on what you put out there. Posts, blogs, you know, they give the thieves information for how to steal your identity.